We are the Lab Doctors. I'm Amanda.
I'm Dorothy.
And I'm Zhao Yong.
We are biomedical researchers who realized we still have a lot to learn about science.
So why not join us on this quest?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. On this Today in Science episode, we will be talking about vaccines, vanity, and vacations.
Yeah.
3 V's! Where did we come up with that?
Oh my goodness, we were brainstorming it yesterday. It came quite naturally actually. Okay, so I will start. So the AstraZeneca vaccine. So I chose this topic because in Malaysia, the government has started a voluntary opt-in plan for this vaccine. So you can volunteer to get this vaccine and you may get it earlier than if you were in the normal immunization program.
Is this a trial? Are they still doing... Oh, it's approved already.
AstraZeneca is the
Oxford. Yes.
Chadox, yeah.
Okay, so I'll go into it.
Okay.
So I've been talking about it with my friends and family and also reading up to find more about the blood clotting reported in some patients receiving this vaccine.
Right.
So if you missed our first episode, first off, where have you been? But anyway, here's a refresher. The AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine has also been referred to as the ChAdOx1 vaccine.
Right, yeah.
So it contains an artificially synthesized SARS-CoV-2 spike protein that is integrated into the delivery mechanism, which is an inactivated simian adenovirus vector.
Yes.
So basically there's a delivery mechanism. I'm not going to explain it. Okay, so it is currently being used in over 115 countries worldwide, and some have been using it for several months, but it has gained more press recently because of the rare blood clots reported in Europe.
Right, yeah.
So the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or MHRA for short, in the UK has reported that about 4 in 1 million would be expected to develop this particular kind of blood clot following vaccination.
Okay.
But they say that the rate is quite hard to estimate because it is so rare.
Is it rare? 4 in 1 million.
It's quite rare one. And how would you associate this to the vaccine? I don't know.
Yeah, how will you draw that? Okay,
in
but
1 million. Science.
Yes.
It's an association, they just observe.
Okay.
Yeah, but it could be entirely due to chance. So right?
Yeah, but they will still have to report though.
I guess the other thing is also if the other vaccines don't really cause this, then you see that in this one particular vaccine,
then maybe 4 would mean 4 times more often.
Yeah.
The scary thing though is that about 1 in 4 of these patients will experience blood clots in critical parts of the body, such as the brain. So blood clotting in the brain is also known as cerebral venous thrombosis.
Right.
And it may lead to a stroke, which could be fatal.
Yes.
So that's why it's been gaining more and more press.
Okay.
So experts suspect that the clots are caused by the immune response triggered by the vaccine, which results in the activation of antibodies that target the platelets in the blood. So one of the associated factors is actually low platelet counts. But more research is currently being conducted to better understand the mechanisms that cause the clots and associated risk factors.
Right.
So the official WHO statement is that the benefits of this vaccine still outweighs its risks.
For sure.
And recommends that vaccinations continue.
Yeah.
So if you or anyone you know is taking this particular vaccine, here are some symptoms to look out for. So severe or persistent headache, blurred vision, chest pain, shortness of breath, swollen legs, and persistent abdominal pain. And also unusual skin bruising and pinpoint spots besides the injection sites.
So these are in case you are the one getting the blood clot. Are these signs for the blood?
These are signs of blood clotting.
For the clot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why there's so many is because it's at different parts of the body it can happen.
Okay.
So while some of these are common, such as headaches, I think we all experience a bit of headache, right? So that's within the first 1 or 2 days of receiving the vaccine. So that is quite normal.
Right.
But you should be wary if you experience any of these symptoms 4 or more days after receiving the vaccine, and you should seek prompt medical advice.
Okay.
So just look out for yourself and anyone you know.
Right. I think we should also recognize that actually getting infected by COVID is a lot higher risk than taking the vaccines. And we should always, just ask our medical professionals on whether or not a vaccine is right for us.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So for the blood clots, right, does it happen in people who have pre-existing, if I have high blood pressure or something, would I get higher chance? Or if I'm a healthy person, I can also get the blood?
So like I said, actually the only associated factor is low platelet counts. Comorbidities haven't been reported.
Yeah, okay, so the next V in our topic of Vs is vanity. And so, not exactly vanity, but proves that actually vanity does exist in almost everyone.
I'm pretty sure it exists in myself.
Yeah, but there's this very interesting article that was talking about how it's actually very rewarding to look at your own face in your brain, like in your nervous system. Apparently, yeah. So I guess we need to first differentiate between the subconscious or subliminal and supraliminal, which is something that we are conscious about. So scientists in the past have already shown that in supraliminal...
Wait, can you speak in simpler terms?
Yeah, so
like
basically...
the conscious or not conscious?
Yeah, conscious.
Okay.
So in our conscious mind, when we look at ourselves, generally, we activate different parts of the brain that serves to provide this reward response. So these parts of the brain are the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens, if you're interested. Not particularly important, but basically parts that are involved in the dopamine reward pathway. So if you remember, dopamine is a very good
it's one of the happy hormones.
Yeah. But why these are activated is because it makes us more calm in the sense that we know what we are looking at because we are looking at ourselves. Yes, familiarity. So this activation is not only for our own faces, it's also for faces of people that we are familiar with, our friends and family. Whereas apparently the amygdala, which is the part that triggers fear responses that heightens our awareness, occurs when we look at people who are unknown to us. So that's why sometimes when you get anxiety, when you go meet new places, it's not just an introvert thing, I guess, but I guess it's heightened in introvert. It might be heightened.
Yes.
We can look into this, but it's quite interesting. So that creates a type of anxiety, but it's just your body's way of priming yourself towards the unknown. So these researchers from the University of Osaka decided to look into the subliminal, which is subconscious. So if we are shown subliminal messages, so subliminal images, so maybe our face hidden behind advertisements or our face hidden behind other things, like so just imagine kind of like a watermark, but even less noticeable to us.
Is it like a photo bomb?
Not really. So it's not
obvious or
enough.
Conspicuous.
Yeah. So the thing about subliminal, so our unconscious mind, is that we would never be able to detect it consciously because that's the point. That's why it's subliminal. It's subconscious. We will never. Our conscious mind would never be able to pick up that we are being shown a subliminal message. And then the next thing is, then through subliminal messages, we are getting influenced to do certain things without us even consciously knowing about it. Yeah. So if you watch videos of like mentalists and how they persuade people into choosing a particular type of card in a deck or whatever, it's these subliminal messages that influences our mind.
Hypnosis?
No, so hypnosis is
totally
different altogether.
Okay, yeah, but I know what you're talking about, the mentalist one.
Yeah. So what these researchers from Osaka found is that when we are shown subliminal images of our face, like features of our face, even features of our face, we would activate the ventral tegmental area, which is one of the areas in our brain that has this dopamine reward pathway, and then it would trigger motivation and happiness.
I don't fully understand.
So
like example, you talk about magic tricks where they ask you to choose this particular card, but they're not showing me my face.
No. So it's not.
What's that about?
So that one is maybe they point towards a star or throughout the room. They are already. So let's say it's like different symbols of card. Like there are cards with different symbols. So maybe throughout the room there are actually subliminal signs of like a star or something that would slowly.
Shouldn't it be one of the decks, like heart or spades?
Yeah.
So for example, if they want you to choose a card that has hearts on it, there will be heart stickers,
imagery,
imagery all
around.
over the room.
Oh, okay. So
and then it kind of
influences you in on a very subconscious level. You don't actively pick up on it. Yeah.
So
Okay,
something
so it's
like
not just
also
your
even
face.
choosing a color. So if I want you to choose between blue and yellow, I can say all the words that rhyme with blue. So two, true, and then subliminally you will choose the color that is that rhymes with it, the familiar one.
Yeah. So of course this doesn't affect everyone.
Yeah.
Some people are less subjected towards this subliminal messaging. But what they've found is that if you look at your own face subliminally, you will also be happy and you'll be motivated to whatever content that you're being shown. Yeah. So it is rewarding to look at our own face. So why I wanted to bring this up was because sometimes when you're on your camera and it's just the front facing camera, and then you see and you're like, oh, I don't want to look at this hideous monster. I'm like, I don't think.
No, but every time you walk past a door that is heavily tinted, then you will look.
Turn and look at yourself.
Wouldn't you?
But is that subliminal or is it because I just want to see my hair is messy?
So that's another thing. So apparently consciously, when we look at our own face and we make adjustments to make it look nicer, it also triggers reward pathways within ourselves. Yeah. So makeup is actually driven by this reward pathway as well, which is very interesting to me because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking like from the start when you said it makes me happy. Like sometimes I see my face and I'm like, I don't look happy today. Yeah, because like maybe I have a pimple or like, I mean, no offenses to pimples, but we have the pimple episode. But anyway, then I'll be like, oh, this is not good. But then, okay, I guess you're saying like then we would want to make adjustments to our face. So I would apply a pimple cream, for example, to get rid of that. Then it would trigger the reward pathway in our brain. And that's and that's a form of motivation for us. So what is scary about this particular study was that then people can start using your images subliminally to drive you to do things because you see certain features of not necessarily your face, but maybe a silhouette of your face that's just subtly in the background of any video or whatever, an advertisement, a commercial, whatever. And you might be driven to wanting to buy certain things. I guess if my face is in an advertisement, I would buy it.
I don't know how true that is because again, consciously when I look at my face, I'm like, I don't want to look at this.
It better be a glam one.
Yeah.
But I guess then the opposite, would it be true that like, so if you talk about depressed people who don't camp themselves, what do you call it? Like people
take care of themselves?
Yeah. Upkeep themselves, does it mean that they are less happy?
I think it's possible. Right? It's interesting.
You don't even find it rewarding to
look at your
tidy up yourself.
Or maybe it just doesn't trigger a high enough response or high enough motivation in your brain to even feel that reward from looking at your face. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, basically we are all biologically wired to be vain. So we shouldn't throw shade at people who like to look at themselves in the mirror, even though I do it very frequently.
That's weird coming from a guy, I feel.
I think everyone does. It's just guys trying not to talk about it more, maybe.
No, I always throw shade at people who look at themselves in the mirror a lot. I'm like, I don't understand what there is to look at. It's just yourself.
Oh my god. Gonna get cancelled.
Anyway, no, but now it's like, I can accept it because biologically it makes sense.
Okay, so no more judgments.
Yeah, it's more acceptable to me now that you look at yourself. Growth.
So if I see someone like looking at themselves in the tinted mirror and I'm on the inside,
the
tinted glass,
yes.
I'll be like, no judgments here.
Yes. So the last B in our
another thing that can maybe trigger dopamine.
Yeah, vacations.
Yes, and in this episode this week, as in like this week,
yes,
there is a vacation.
Yeah, there's a public holiday, Hari Raya Puasa, right?
Hari Raya Puasa.
So to all our Muslim listeners, Selamat Hari Raya.
Yay! Yeah, so
sorry, what was that?
Selamat Hari Raya.
Yes.
In lieu of this 4-day work week.
Yes.
4-day work week.
Yes.
Straits Times recently posted some news article which is on premium, so I can't read the entire thing.
Straits Times Premium, man, ruining.
It's just $1 subscription.
Cannot say any of these things.
Right. Actually,
you guys should know this.
My family has Straits Times Premium.
I always forget that your family has, and I should ask you for it. But anyway,
but I keep forgetting the password, so it's like, it's just a struggle. But yes.
Anyway, but the infographics was good enough to get the idea of what they're saying. So they talked about like whether 4-day work week should come back and can it be a thing in lieu of COVID.
Yeah.
So basically the idea of 4-day work week came out in about 1970s. And then I just triggered my memory of me asking this question like really just a few weeks ago, like who created 5-day work weeks and who stated that the work timing should be 8:30 to 6 p.m.
It's just a convention, I think.
I think, isn't it because it's the daylight hours?
Yeah. In the past.
Exactly. So according to my friend who said he knows stuff, like he read this before. Yeah, it's according to the hours. But I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't matter because
care.
of electricity.
Yeah. And why must I work from when the sun is up to when the sun is out? Why can't I work like when the sun is in the middle of the sky? Anyway, so whoever.
It's just a convention.
I guess farmers also don't have that choice last time.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays.
Yes, nowadays, yeah.
Anyway, so then I was like, why can't we have 4-day work weeks? That would be extremely good. So in this article, they cited countries and offices like Microsoft Japan, who tried 4-day work week for a month. Unilever in New Zealand, they tried it for a year. And both of these, they actually saw signs of improved productivity and intentions to continue some sort of this kind of arrangement in the future. And for Spain, the government is intending to put $80 million into a 3-year nationwide program to explore shorter work week and is seeking for companies to come on board.
Why do they need money to do a shorter work week? Why do they need $80 million?
Maybe they need to supplement for the make up for the 1 day
the
of
money
less.
that they will lose.
I have no idea actually. Good question. I have no idea how economics works.
Please inform us.
I have no idea.
Okay,
for people who know about finance.
Please inform us why money is required to reduce your work week.
But in Singapore itself, Prudential started a 4-day work week pilot test late last year, and there are some signs of success. So apparently some benefits, some potential benefits would be like changing gender norms. So, instead of like women have to just do the housework a bit more, maybe if the men get more time off work, they can also help with the house. Would I trade it if I'm a man to like go take care of the house?
How is that fair? Women are still expected to take care of the house with a 5-day work week.
My point is, I want to be a house husband. Fine either way.
You have to get a wife first.
Thanks. Moving on.
The other benefit would be that older workers can still work, but with shorter periods of time, which I think is great.
Okay.
And it might work for newer work models like job sharing, where a full-time role is split between 2 or more workers. Not really super convinced. So will it work? I think that's what I want to discuss with you all today, because some pointers that they pointed was the novelty of shorter work week will wear off.
Yeah.
Would it? So I was thinking last time, do you recall when we were younger in Singapore, there was 5.5 days work week. Like people work on half days on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And then I remember like the government saying, okay, there's no more 5.5 day work week unless you're like maybe a hospital staff or something.
For the public sector, right?
Yeah.
Service
for
also, I think. Or like, some banks, they open on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But like offices, 5 days.
Okay.
And I was like, that's great. And I mean, it didn't affect me because I was schooling, but now that I think about it. So now if you tell me 4-day work week, I'll be like, yes.
In fact, in history, basically last time it was 6 days work week. There's no weekend.
In Singapore also?
No. In history. So in the past. So apparently only Sunday is a holiday because Sunday is supposed to be God's day or something.
Yeah.
So I mean for Western countries. So then Sunday is reserved for church going.
And resting.
And Saturday was never a break. So it was just work Monday to Saturday. Yeah. So then they moved to have 2-day weekends. So why not 4 days? I said, why not a 4-day work week? It's just a convention.
I was like, you're gonna go for 4 days?
No. So like, why not a 4-day work week? Because if we are it's just a sign of progress, right? It's just a sign of increase in efficiency, increase in productivity. If there isn't a need to make it a 5-day work week.
Yeah. To me, it's like, I think it would work if it's a global effort.
Yeah.
Because like, let's say if Singapore say like, okay, you can work 4 days a week. Obviously, you cannot cram a 5-day workload into a 4-day workload.
Yeah.
Unless you're not being productive in office. But if you're at your full max capacity, it will not work. And therefore, things would have to change. Like every deadline you set would be based on a 4-day work week. So things would definitely slow down. And I feel like if only Singapore is slowing down, for example, and let's say you work with people overseas, then they might be faster than you and therefore you cannot catch up to them on their deadlines. You get what I mean? So I think it must be a global effort. Like you cannot just be like, okay, Singapore's going to cut productivity to like 4-day work weeks.
But I think what they're arguing is that productivity will remain in the 4-day work week,
but
right?
some is just really not possible. Okay, like for research itself.
That's the thing I was going to mention, because for research, sometimes it's just not possible. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Like we have time causes. If
you need to add a treatment for 48 hours and that 48 hours tend to just happen on a Friday, you don't really have a choice there.
No, also we have to take care of the cells. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Even if the cells don't know that it's a public holiday.
So are we in the service industry for the cells?
Yeah. Our life is dedicated to serving the cells.
But I guess just to re-emphasize on the productivity part, I think I was watching a breakdown of the Unilever their trial.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and they were giving, as in the workers were giving pretty candid feedback, and they were saying that in fact their productivity increased because they felt they had to clear their work before the weekend started because they have less time now. So they had less time to slack around, which is the point. It increases productivity during work hours because you don't have as much time to do the work.
I think that's what I've read also, that the advocates for 4-day work week say that productivity and work output should not decrease.
Yeah, it generally remains the same. So unless you are in industries like ours where, research and time points and all these things are a thing.
Where time is, you have to adhere to the different time.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a Unilever staff, I would definitely say that 4-week work week is okay for me.
4-day work week. 4-week work week is.
Did I say 4 week? 4 day. I obviously do not want a 4-week work week. No, but for some sectors, right? Like maybe, sometimes I see my pharmacy friends or like my banking friends, they are just maxed out. They just come home at 11 p.m. or something, or they don't reply text anymore. And I just feel like they're already maxed out. How are you going to squeeze it into a 4-day work week for a 5-day workload?
Yeah, so I guess it has to vary. Like each company needs to do an assessment
it's not fair.
Of their own.
Well, but some people still work 6 or 7 days a week. What?
I mean, sometimes we work holidays too because there's just no choice,
I will be like, no, it's a weekend. I will not open my emails. But sometimes I just do. I will just try not to, but depends.
Yeah,
I think depends on the work culture. So
it really depends. I just feel that at this point it's probably a privilege kind of thing. If your company can do it, it's a privilege, and you should try and introduce it because it's definitely good for welfare. Yeah.
I guess you can take a vote for us on our Instagram. That I will set up. That we will set up on whether you want, and then I can tag Straits Times, and Straits Times can bring it out to the government, and hopefully
text it out to the Ministry of Manpower.
Yes.
Excuse you, look at this poll.
This poll of a small sample size.
Yeah, ask your friends to do this poll, and we would send it in.
We will just tag the Ministry of Manpower.
Yep. So as usual, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Giving us a like and a comment would help us a lot.
You can also follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Feel free to DM us any questions.
Alternatively, you can email us at thelabdoctors@gmail.com. We hope you enjoyed this TIS episode.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya. Bye bye.